Hello everyone, this time I'm on the opposite side of the camera. I'm once again back with the FB6 and I briefly want to talk about what it's been like driving this car in its lowered state for the last week or so. So as most of you know, I installed Happy Racer HRD coilovers on this car on all four corners. And I indicated that I would provide a unbiased and brutally honest review of lowering this car on coilovers. Maybe not specifically these coilovers, but just lowering this car in general. I'll be honest, it has been a complete pain in the ass. The fronts haven't given me much trouble since it's a very familiar and standard setup, being a true coilover. But the rear, being a divorce setup, has caused a lot of problems. It seems that both the 8th gen and the 9th gen both have issues with clunking in the rear once you lower the car. I've been told this is one of two things, either preload or sway bar end links. So I think honestly this is a pretty solid ride height for a daily driven setup, because you don't want it to be too low that you're scraping on everything, but I'm pretty sure I still have at least 4 inches of ground clearance on the lowest hanging point on the car, which I believe is the exhaust. I will definitely be scraping my front lip a little bit more coming out of steep driveways and transitions, but that should be manageable. Overall, I think the car looks a lot better. It definitely handles better. Honestly, not as big of a difference as I was expecting though. That's kind of been my hang up here, is it didn't make as big of a difference as I was expecting in the driving experience. Because in my EK, for example, I put Tane Flex Z's, which is like a $800-ish suspension setup, and that made a night and day difference, no questions asked. Like that, it was completely different. This car, I don't know if it's just these coilovers specifically, but yes, they stiffened up the ride a little bit, and there's a little bit less body roll, but not nearly as big of a difference as when I slapped coilovers on the EK. So that, I think, is where it's hard to justify both spending all the money on coilovers and all the downsides that come with owning coilovers. Wearing everything on your suspension does accelerate. You're more likely to damage the car by scraping, hitting things. But it looks a lot better and it corners better. I mean, that's the main reason for installing coilovers. You can adjust them. I mean, these can go almost all the way to stock ride height, but the whole point was to lower the car. Like, that was the whole point behind it. I hit a lot of snags installing these coilovers, which is why there isn't a video installing them. But it's pretty simple. You just, especially the fronts, you just unbolt it from the knuckle, unbolt it from the top, unbolt the sway bar, take the old ones out, throw the new ones in, bolt everything back up. But I wanted to install the Aerogenics roll center correction kit, as I've had for a while. And it was a pain in the ass to get the ball joints out. It just was not happening. So I had to go to Harbor Freight and pick up one of these bad boys. It's a pickle fork, and it's great for separating ball joints. This was only 10 bucks. It's quite heavy, and it definitely does the job, but you have to use a sledgehammer with it, especially on stuck ball joints, because it was not coming out no matter how much I tried, both with this and my dead blow hammer. I should have known that probably wasn't going to be enough. Once I grabbed a 3-pound sledge, they came out really nicely. And this is a really solid tool, actually. For $10, it's just a bunch of steel. While we're on the topic of tools, there's actually a few tools that you'll need that you probably don't have already for the install. And I would say the biggest lifesaver were these crow's foot wrenches. So if you guys don't know, in the rear, the suspension setup is a strut. Like, the actual shaft itself gets inserted into rubber bushings, and then there's a nut on top. But you have to torque that nut still. So using this and the end of a torque wrench and an Allen key to hold the actual shaft itself, keep it from spinning, this is the only way to torque it. Because I tried to torque it with a wrench and a ratchet, just feeling it, and I did not get close enough to 22 foot-pounds in the rear. Fix that now with one of these. Also from Harbor Freight, it's the Icon set. So crow's foot wrenches are important. You need a torque wrench, but a lot of people have those already. That's not that big of a deal. And that pickle fork if you want to do the ball joints and the roll center correction kit. I think it was worth it to do the roll center correction kit because after installing it and the new ball joints, The front feels so much better going over bumps. It's not even, that made a bigger difference than the coilovers itself, if you ask me. So I'm dealing with that clunking in the back, and I'm fairly certain it's the sway bar end links, but it could also be improper preload. So setting preload in the rear is actually fairly difficult for a first timer. It's actually not that difficult. It's just difficult if you don't really know what you're doing and you've only watched like YouTube videos. So you have to set everything in place. Make sure the spring is seated in the perches. You got your ride height set. Sway bar disconnected from the rear. And make sure the shock itself, the shock absorber itself, is disconnected from the control arm. And then you turn the body of the shock absorber to make sure you can slide the bolt in. And you lightly torque it down, because you don't want to torque these things down unless it's under weight. Otherwise you risk prematurely failing the bushings. But then you take the overall length of the spring, which in my case I believe was 155 millimeters. That's what I measured with my calipers. And then you turn the shock body the opposite way to compress the spring. I've been told a bunch of different figures, 3 to 5 millimeters, 5 to 10 millimeters. I think I was in that 5 to 10 millimeter range. I compressed it from, I believe, 155 to 148-ish, because I was working with a tape measure that only measures in inches, so I was just eyeballing it based on conversions. I did about 5 3/4 inches top to bottom on the spring, which should be enough preload. So I really don't think the clunking in the rear is from a preload issue. I want to say it's just the sway bar end links. And I wonder if that's because they're failing or because they're too long and the sway bar is hitting something it shouldn't be. It almost sounds like the sway bar itself is contacting the body, but I don't think that that's happening. Overall, I think lowering this car was a good decision, and it looks a lot better and definitely drives better. Once I get rid of the clunking, I will have no gripes with it at all, because as long as lowering the car doesn't introduce any other downsides other than scraping every once in a while, which I haven't done yet, I don't see any issues with it. But creating that mechanical sound in the back is concerning. Probably not a huge deal, because a lot of people deal with it and just fix it when they can, but it's something to keep my eye on. Overall update for the car, this is the end of version 1. I will probably not be putting any other mods on this car now that it's lowered. I've got my aesthetic mods. It's basically just going to come down to maintaining it and keeping it in good working order. So we're looking at the passenger side of the car right now, and if you notice, the front wheel is a lot cleaner looking than the rear wheel. And that's because the rear passenger brake caliper is sticking and wearing pads unevenly. The outer pad, the one that faces the face of the wheel, like the back of it, that pad is almost down to nothing. Like, we're getting to the point where it's probably going to start squeaking here soon, and then I'm going to have to fucking replace them. So I don't know if that's a caliper issue or just the slide pins, the guide pin, whatever they're called. I'll verify that and put the text there. It's just improperly greased. I wonder if it could just be that, because it could be something simple like that, and the rear brakes just haven't been done in a while. But the pads on the other side actually look to be in decent shape, so I'm not 100% sure that's it. And I'm still dealing with cold start rattle. So cold start rattle on K-Series engines is most commonly the VTC actuator. And if it's not the VTC actuator, usually it's a timing chain tensioner or a stretch timing chain. Really hoping that it's not a stretch chain, because then I'm going to have to take the entire timing cover off and replace the entire timing chain. So my spring start kit worked, but it still kind of rattles a little bit, and I'm going to have to like record it the next time I can, because it still rattles a little bit. I'm probably going to put one of these microphones in the engine bay and see if I can get a good clip of it. But it does still rattle just a little bit. So I've got a brand new OEM Honda timing chain tensioner, say that 5 times fast, on the way right now. Should be here and installed early next week, and I will see if that fixes my cold start rattle issues. Beyond that, valve adjustment on this car, complete pain in the ass as well. The valves are very finicky, and they love to make noise if they're even a tiny bit too loose. So the first time I did it, I only adjusted one valve because it was definitely out of spec. I couldn't even get the 8 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge between. So I loosened it, and it was way too loose. I definitely fucked it up. But I did it a second time, and I swear I got it perfectly with just the right amount of drag on the feeler gauge on 9 thousandths. So right there in the middle of spec between 8 thousandths and 10 thousandths. And it still kind of likes to clatter at cold start. So I've got a cold start rattle of whatever is going on the timing side of the engine, and my cylinder 1 intake valves are still a little clattery because I'm 99% sure I didn't adjust any other valves when I did it the first time because there was only one out of spec. So yeah, that's the overall update on this car. All the other mods I've installed have been fantastic. I'm loving the front lip. I'm loving the aero flap back there. The acuity shifter is still fantastic. It's only recently that I've started to run into issues where I start regretting the things I'm doing. So other than that, I've just been doing maintenance since the sway bar, besides the coilovers. And every time I feel like I take on a project with this car, I am reminded that it's not the EK and it's not as simple as these cars from the 90s. So I have a lot to learn when it comes to working on this car and newer cars in general, but I'm excited to learn more, expand my horizons beyond just the 90s cars. Here's a better look at the fitment. That gap is only like, I don't know, it's less than an inch. It's less than an inch of wheel gap all the way around. I think the rears are just slightly lower, and you can tell when I had the right height set before, it was rubbing a little bit here. But that should have been fixed by now. So to sum it all up, installing coilovers on this car, especially if things don't go smoothly, can be a major pain. Do I regret doing it? No, not as of right now. If I start prematurely wearing suspension components, that opinion might change. I am holding on to the stock suspension for now, but I don't foresee myself going back to stock ride height. And if I do, I will probably just raise these coilovers up rather than going back to the stock suspension. So yeah, I will continue to try to fix the cold start rattle that this thing's dealing with. So I'm gonna have a video for you guys next week of installing this timing chain tensioner on this car because I don't see a whole lot of them on the internet. Yes, it's a pretty universal process for K-series engines, but I don't see a whole lot of videos on this car specifically. All right, everyone, that's gonna be it for today's build update video on the coilovers and the Civic in general. If you enjoyed it, give it a like down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. I put in my EK, for example, I put Tane Flex C's. Okay. Fuck. Damn it. Drink some water. Oh, it's wet. Fucking shit.